Hello, welcome back. Today I'm going to be figuring out what is Eurovision. The majority of Americans will have no idea what Eurovision is. And me, as an example, I had no idea what Eurovision was until probably 2020. Not long ago at all. I never even heard of it before. But once I learned about it, I listened to all of the different countries. And then 2021, I watched all of those as well, at least the top ones. But I don't really know the background, the history, where it came from, how it works, how it's judged. I really don't know anything about that. And please add any additional information to what they say in this video.
I remember the first time I was introduced to Eurovision was in 2014 when I visited Denmark, and back then they were actually hosting Eurovision. I had no idea what it was, and then when I saw it, I was like, wow, this is a big deal out here. So today we answer the question, what is Eurovision?
That's exactly the response that probably all Americans would have. You would be there and be like, wow, this is a huge deal out here. I can't believe I never heard of it.
Explained by the perfect candidate, me, an American. Logic! Now, if you really want to know what Europeans think of each other, don't watch the news or read an article on history. Just watch Eurovision. First of all, specifically, it's the Eurovision Song Contest. Eurovision is actually the name of the network in Switzerland that kind of started the whole thing. Second of all, in the shortest way I can summarize it, it's like the longest running, most watched singing competition in the world, held in May with finals sometimes lasting up to 4 hours. It involves mostly all of the countries in Europe.
I know there's some random countries that are in it, like Australia, at least one point. This is a lot.
And a few that aren't even in it as well. Literally every country in Europe except for Liechtenstein and, no surprise, Vatican City has competed at least once in the competition. Can you imagine a Vatican priest competing in the competition? Who knows, maybe one day. I mean, Europe is pretty surprising. So how did it all begin? Basically, back in the 1950s, Europe had to figure out a way to make everybody cool with each other after World War II. So, no shocker, Europe's little rational psychiatrist Switzerland was like, hey, everyone likes music, so let's do a friendly little singing competition amongst each other to appease the masses. And it worked! Switzerland, the most neutral of all nations, hosted the first competition in Lugano with 7 countries, and no surprise, Switzerland, the most neutral competitor, won the first competition. Since then, it's been going on literally for over 60 years. Slowly over time, new countries joined in. After the fall of the Soviet Union and Yugoslavia, tons of new countries wanted in, and now over 40 are taking part. Basically, each country submits an original song and a singer or group to perform for the grand prize. You know, on the surface, it seems kind of fun, but underneath the whole deal, it's like this whole systematically complex formulated competition. It involves a lot of math, politics, and strategy. And by strategy, I mean this. The rules are always changing because they always find new problems.
Kind of out there sometimes, but that's what makes it mixed in with all those extremely good songs. The mix is wild to me. It is so strange, but that's really what gives it its charm for me.
But for one, you get 3 minutes to sing and you can choose whatever language you want. However, recently a lot of people have just chosen to sing in English. Belgium once trolled everybody by singing in a fake language twice. And for some reason, Norway once sang in Swahili. Now, because they are the biggest financial contributors, there are 5 countries that automatically qualify for the final every year. They are France, Germany, Spain, the UK, and Italy. Now, you might think because these countries automatically qualify, that might be unfair. So to make up for it, these countries usually send in singers that like deliberately suck so they can kind of make up for the advantage. Now, how do you win? Well,
I mean, I have a smile on my face. It's entertaining. I liked it. Maybe I didn't like the songs all that much, but the performance was out there.
Well, in order to win, you have to get the points, which happens through voting. The voting system has changed throughout the years. At first, there was a single jury that voted. Then there was a jury in every competing nation that gave a point system between 1 to 8, 10, and 12 points to their favorite performers. Then in 1997, they experimented with the first call-in televoting system. Then that got messy because politics. So in 2016, they brought back the juries and fused the two together so each got a 50-50 say in the point system. Basically, the rule is you can't vote for your own country, but you can give points to other countries. This is where politics usually comes in and why the televoting system got kind of messy. You can really get a sense of who the real friends are. Like the Nordic countries always support each other, the Slavic countries, Greece.
Is that true, or is that just kind of what we've heard and it's not true at all? If you're knocked out, you'll just vote for your closest ally or the country that you border. I want to hear. I want to hear.
Greece and Cyprus always give each other like the highest points, and so on. So that's why they had to bring the jury system back to balance things out. To this day, Ireland has the most wins at 7. Sweden comes in next at 6. France and Luxembourg and the UK each have 5. The Netherlands has 4. Denmark, Israel, and Norway have 3. And Austria, Germany, Italy, Spain, Switzerland, and the Ukraine each have 2. Otherwise, when it comes to performances, pretty much anything goes. You can wear wacky costumes, use silly props, you can incorporate elements that illustrate your nation's culture or heritage, you can run around in a hamster wheel. You don't even have to use performers that are from your country. I mean, Celine Dion won in the 80s. She competed for Switzerland and she's from Canada. You can take the competition seriously or you can make a complete fool of yourself. And that's kind of the other thing that needs to be addressed. Apparently, from what I've been told, many of the countries that compete in Eurovision don't even want to win Eurovision. As in, they deliberately suck so that they can lose. Now, why would you want to lose Eurovision? Because according to the rules, the winning country of Eurovision has to host the next Eurovision. Hosting a Eurovision is like hosting a little mini Olympics. It costs a lot of money and taxes to accommodate such a huge event that gets bigger and bigger every year.
So you might shake your head at what I'm about to say, but really what introduced me to Eurovision was the Will Ferrell movie and Rachel McAdams. I think those were the two main ones in it. Eurovision Song Contest, the Fire Saga, something along those lines. And I was like, what in the world is this? So I looked it up and that's how I really started to understand what it was. I'm connecting of what he's saying to what happens in the movie, but I could say that things are making a lot more sense to me now.
This is where the infamous troll contestants come in. Every year there are so many with like over-the-top, campy, horribly constructed performances. And it's one of the biggest appeals to watching Eurovision. Everybody wants to see the trolls. And it's almost like there's an art to it. Typically, you can tell if it's a troll if the song is either about partying, dancing, or having fun. Usually played to a very poppy techno EDM track. Usually accompanied by over-the-top flashy costumes and props or bad dancing. From what I've seen, Latvia and Lithuania seem to be really good at this. Like Latvia once dressed up as pirates. Lithuania literally
Hey, that song was not that bad.
submitted this. Surprisingly, they came in 6th place that year. You know, usually there's going to be a bunch of slip-ups and mistakes.
Nice.
Ireland once sent in a screaming puppet. The singing can get pretty intense. Oh, and the lyrics, sometimes they're just genius.
Wow. Okay. More reason for me to want to watch this. I want to know why you watch it though. Is it for the good performances? Is it for these crazy, I don't want to win troll performances? I want to know why you watch it. Why do people around the world watch Eurovision?
One time Finland won with this group.
It's the apocalypse, now made us so. All we need is lightning, with power and might.
Oh, and don't forget, drag queens after winning drag queens. And there was that one time Russia was like, screw it. We're just gonna send in a bunch of grandmas baking bread on stage. And they actually got 2nd place. In the end, the Eurovision Song Contest is like Europe's complete musical battle royale that brings in the entire continent, plus some other countries that are not part of their continent. Which begs the question, do I think the USA should take part in Eurovision? No, absolutely not. For one, we're not part of Europe. Second, we'd probably ruin it. Like, seriously. I'm very doubtful any Europeans would be ecstatic to see an American in a European competition. We'd be like that really annoying cousin that your friend brought to your party that you kind of politely laugh at their horrible bad jokes.
I see what he's saying. What do you think about that? If the US was in Eurovision, good or bad? Would that be a wonderful thing? Would that be a horrible thing? Would we ruin it?
Because you don't want to be confrontational. And when he starts talking to you, you're like, oh yeah? Yeah? Hey, I have to go to the bathroom, but hey, here's Estonia. Have you met Estonia? Yeah. Estonia, US, Estonia. Yeah, just say hi to each other. And yeah, you two get along. I gotta go to the bathroom. And third, we'd probably never win. I doubt we'd ever get many points, if any at all. I mean, maybe the UK and Ireland would throw some pity points, but nobody would want an American to win Eurovision. And if by some miracle we actually did win, it would probably start a bunch of protests and boycotts and inciting World War III, 4, and 5 all at once. So for the safety of the planet, I think it would be best if we sat this one out. So there you go. Eurovision explained.
Thank you.
By an American. Hope you like this video. Subscribe if you like. Check.
Yeah, that was a good video. What are your thoughts on that? That was a quick explanation of what's going on, but what do you think about all that? One, if America were to ever be in, good or bad? Would that be a wonderful thing? Would that be a horrible thing? I would assume it's the latter, and I am okay with that. Something that I did notice that was pretty big was why were these countries singing in English? Are there better odds to win Eurovision if you do sing in English? Or is it just because a lot of the world understands English? That's kind of more of a universally known language, or their group will be more popular if they do that because more people understand what they're saying. Overall, fantastic though. And the last question is, why do you watch it? Why do people that you know watch it? Why does Europe watch it? Why is it so popular? Get in a good chat in the comments. So thank you for joining. Thank you for making it this far. I'll definitely be watching more Eurovision and learning more about it and watching some top performances. So until that time, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching and have a good musical rest of your day.